During the 2023 presidential election, I supported Mr. P2B because I believe in his competence. I believe he was better than every other candidate, just like Sowore, though Sowore was not having chances like P2B to be declared by INEC as the president. But I am saying this in this video, and this will be the basics of our discussion in this video, that if Mr. P2B had won, if INEC had declared him, let me use that word, if INEC had declared him to be the winner of the 2023 presidential election, P2B will work because he is better than every other person in that race, from my own opinion, but he will not be able to change Nigeria. If P2B comes out as a presidential candidate tomorrow, I will support him, but mind you, he will not be able to change Nigeria. Why am I saying this? Stay to the end of this video to understand my point. Nigeria as a country is structured to fail. Nigeria as a country has a system that even though you are a saint, you are an angel, even though you are a God sent, if you still enter into this system, you are still going to fail. Now, this system is totally different from gubernatorial system. It's different from governors. I want to make known to Nigerians about the system of Nigeria. If not, we will be clamoring during Obasanjo. People were saying Obasanjo was bad, that they are even praying for God to give us Yaradua. Yaradua came, Yaradua was like angel. But the Northerners accused him of supporting the South without supporting the North. And he died. Goodluck Jonathan assumed office. We said Goodluck Jonathan was good. Before you know, people begin to pray for Buhari. They say Buhari fought against corruption and he will defeat Boko Haram and stop insurgent in Nigeria. In 2015, God answered that prayer they prayed, not me. Somebody like Father Mbaka, Dr. Sonda Adendaja and the rest of them, they prayed for Buhari, and God gave them Buhari, not me. So when Buhari still assumed office, insecurity increased, the depreciation of Naira, much borrowing, nothing worked, absolutely nothing. Then we started praying for better things. And here comes Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And people said Tinubu changed Lagos and he will be able to change Nigeria. People disagreed and said, no, P2B is better than Tinubu. And after the election, here comes Tinubu, things get worse. Now, let us face the reality. I want to let you to understand why I'm making this video. Honestly, if P2B wants to campaign or comes out for presidential election race tomorrow, I will support him with everything I have. I will support him because I believe in the capacity of that man. But you know what? Mr. P2B will still fail. I'm going to tell you why he's going to fail. Mr. P2B may be able to reduce minimum depreciation of Naira. You know, Naira may force back, the economy may, do well, patriotism, people may like it, corruption may reduce, but let me tell you, P2B will not stop those bandits or Fulani herdsmen that Erufai said that there was a law in the past, the ECOWAS law, that people from Guinea, from Mali could trek in their number into our country. And nobody will ask them about visa or passport. They will enter into our country, they will destroy farms, and if you talk, they will continue to kill you. And people that are in the same religion with them, we protect them. P2B will not be able to stop it. P2B may give order like Goodluck Jonathan gave order, and nobody will obey that order. Those people in the army that they have mixed with Boko Haram, is P2B going to sack them all? Absolutely nothing. Now you are beginning to understand why I said that Mr. P2B will not be able to change Nigeria even though he is good. If Mr. P2B becomes president, he is going to fail because during the time of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, when he was so decisive and he was ready to wipe out Boko Haram, by now we wouldn't have been seeing anything like bandits, Boko Haram, and so on and so forth. But you know what happened? Somebody like Buhari said that if you wipe out Boko Haram, if you fight against them, you are fighting against the North. If Goodluck Jonathan sends army message, army doesn't go. Upon him himself is the chief commander, because they will be using religion to scatter everything. They will be using religion to frustrate him. This is just one of the reasons why P2B will not be able to change Nigeria. It was Donye Okukpe that came to the national television to say this, that Buhari was warning Goodluck Jonathan not to fight Boko Haram.
A well-known leader in this country said that any attempt to attack and fight insurgency is an attack on the North. So, when you have such huge political considerations, there are difficulties. I mean, Buhari said that in the newspaper. General Buhari said that any attack on Boko Haram is an attack on the North.
Yes, this is just one of the instances I am talking about. That even though Peter Obi becomes president today, the frustration will be too much. Now, stay with me because we are going to be talking about the solution. What will bring the permanent solution to all this catastrophe going on in Nigeria. Not only what Buhari said during Goodluck Jonathan, now presently there has been, so many governors in the north who are accomplices to what is going on, all these bandits and Boko Haram killing. There is one lady that came to the national television on Arise News. This lady also said that Kashim Shettima was sponsoring Boko Haram then. So when you look at all these things, you would understand that it's not only about having good person in that seat of presidents. The person may try his possible best, but the person will not be able to change Nigeria. Now, the question is, how are we going to do it and what are we going to do? And that brings me back to what Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Onise Agbakoba, said.
If, for instance, me and my wife Lillian don't agree in our marriage of 45 years, then we can't do anything. So the first thing that President Tinubu would need to do is to ensure that Nigerians all agree to be one country. You recall that Bola Ige asked those two questions. Do we want to be one? It's not by force. If we want to be one, how? We haven't answered those questions. I've told Mr. President and President Akpabio, and I was happy that the National Security Advisor was present, we are not going to win the insurgency by military solution. You, Sambo, very well experienced, I know you very well, you know how much the government has devoted in terms of budgeting to the military. What we see is money goes to the military, it is misused, the service chiefs are sacked, new ones come in, and it goes on and on, but no solution. We are not going to win the insurgency war by military option. We are going to win the problem of insurgency and insecurity by discussion. Nnamdi Kanu has no reason to be in jail. The guys in Lagos, Ibadan, or Northwest, or wherever, you've got to call them to a peace meeting and resolve this problem. You can't beat these guys with arms. If you think you're going to shoot these people out, then look at what America did in Vietnam and lost. Look at all the wars. Look at Che Guevara's war. Irregular war, but he won in Bolivia. Look at what happened in Cuba. So the first point I want to make is the military solution to Nigeria's problem will fail. The first thing is to say, what's the constitution? If, for instance, me and my wife Lillian don't agree in our marriage of 45 years, then we can't do anything. So the first thing that President Tinubu would need to do is to ensure that Nigerians all agree to be one country. You recall that Bola Ige asked those two questions. Do we want to be one? It's not by force. If we want to be one, how? We haven't answered those questions, which is why I told President Akpabio of the Senate that it has taken 23 years to solve the problem of the Constitution. And I urged him, in conjunction with President Tinubu, to resolve the Nigerian constitutional question now by inviting the owners of Nigeria. The owners of Nigeria, mark you, were those who owned Nigeria before Lugard brought his amalgamation in 1914. Call them in. These are the people who own the country, and ask them questions. What do you want to see of the Constitution? Because without a Constitution, we're going nowhere. And no one will doubt the fact that the Constitution bequeathed by the military in 1999 is unsatisfactory. That's the key. If we resolve the Constitution and agree what we want to do, and that agreement may be we want to go to pieces. There's nothing wrong with that. But I would prefer, personally, that we agree to be one country, because I like a big country like Nigeria. So that's what I'm saying. So I was an activist several years ago. 29 years and 71 years is a very long time. So Sambo, do not think I haven't grown in all these years. Of course I've matured. I have more wisdom than when I was 29. So I cannot be talking about, going to the streets and fighting. I'm an older man. So wisdom comes to the table. I'm a wise man today. So I will use my wisdom to advise my younger people on the streets that this is the way to go. We all accept the parliamentary sovereignty of the National Assembly. What we quarrel with is that they are too slow in resolving Nigeria's constitutional arrangements. I don't think you'll have any problem with that, Sambo. I'm simply saying the National Assembly should conclude constitutional discussions. That's what I'm saying. I didn't mention discard the Constitution. There's a Constitution that we have. Unfortunately, Nigerians haven't bought into it. But we have a sovereign parliament that can assist the process. They can call the traditional rulers, they can call Afenifere, Pandef and all that to say, what are your views? So personally I accept the authority of the National Assembly in constitution making. What I don't accept is the fact that they are taking too much time. I'm sure you will agree that 23 years to resolve our constitution is far too long. I've told Mr. President and President Akpabio, and I was happy that the National Security Advisor was present, we are not going to win the insurgency by military solution. You, Sambo, very well experienced, I know you very well, you know how much the government has devoted in terms of budgeting to the military. What we see is money goes to the military, it is misused, the service chiefs are sacked, new ones come in, and it goes on, but no solution. We are not going to win the insurgency war by military option. We are going to win the problem of insurgency and insecurity by discussion. Nnamdi Kanu has no reason to be in jail. The guys in Lagos, Ibadan, or Northwest, or wherever, you've got to call them to a peace meeting and resolve this problem. If you think you're going to shoot these people out, then look at what America did in Vietnam and lost. Look at all the wars. Look at Che Guevara's war. Irregular war, but he won in Bolivia. Look at what happened in Cuba. So the first point I want to make is the military solution to Nigeria's problem will fail. It's going to, how many years now since Jonathan? It's going to about 10 years. We spent billions, no results. So why can't we try something new? Just for the heck of it, because Olisa Awakwa is saying it. Try something new. Bring in people who own Nigeria and say, how can we resolve this problem? You will see a difference. That is the first important point I'd like to make. Let us forget the issue of using military solution to resolve this insurgency conflict. It will not work. I say this because in 1980, I studied counterinsurgency in SOAS, which is a school in the University of London Systems. And I studied over 100 wars over the last 500 years. Not one single war was won when fighting irregular people. Mao Zedong won his war in China by using irregular tools. So you can't beat these guys with arms. You know, Sambo, that Nigeria has poured a lot of money into this war. Why are they not winning? What's the reason they're not winning? Tell me. So let's try something new. And what I'm offering is dialogue. What is Nnamdi? Why are you laughing? What is Nnamdi Kanu doing in jail? Democracy or not democracy, we have suffered enough. We have suffered enough in this country.
Yeah.
How can I pay my driver 100,000? No, please listen to me. How can I pay my driver 100,000 for him to buy rice of 60K? Because we have people in Abuja chopping all our money. The nonsense must stop. The nonsense must stop. And the president of Nigeria must be the person to lead this crusade in the context of a constitutional process. That is what I'm saying to you.
If you have listened word by word, everything that this man said, that is my own position. Because we live in a country where we don't value human lives. As people continue to die for no reason, people who are innocent, who are just living their own life, the crime they committed is that they are Nigerians. So what Odisagbakoba was saying is right. We have to ask ourselves some certain questions. There is nothing bad disintegrating or going back to regional government. This has been my stand right from time. And this is the summary of this video. That even though Mr. P2B entered that place, he will still fail as a president. But he is a good person. If he come out to vie for any position, I will support him. But as far as this country is not restructured, it's not taken back to regional government, it's not divided, forget about it. Just imagine if we have state police. So the president will not bother himself much. The governor had to protect his people. You know, the local government had to protect their people. This is how it's supposed to be. So, thank you for watching this video to the end. Kindly share this video to support me. Subscribe to this channel. And above all, always come by for daily updates.